Hello everyone, my name is Dhiroj Koirala. I am a PhD candidate in the Department of Resource Economics at University of Massachusetts Amherst. My interests are in the realm of environmental economics, energy economics, and development economics. Today I'm going to talk about climate change, which has been impacting everyone and every corner of the world. In particular, I will be talking about climate change, welfare disruption, and redistributive needs. All right. So the outline of my presentation will be first, I will talk about climate change and economic growth. Then I will briefly talk about climate change and welfare disruption. And then I will talk about need for redistribution of resources. And finally, I will discuss if resource redistribution can help fight climate change and improve social welfare. Finally, I will conclude my brief talk. First of all, this morning I was running a regression of the log of GDP of 8 countries belonging to South Asian Association of Regional Cooperation in Myanmar against the average annual temperature of those countries from 1960 to 2021. And I found that uh, temperature increase is positively correlated with GDP growth, which makes sense because our economic growth has been mainly relied on fossil fuels, which emits carbon dioxide, leading to climate change, right? So our economic growth and wealth generation has been positively correlated with the rise in temperature, the rise in carbon dioxide. And this graph that I obtained from this article, the Supasidal published in Energy Policy back in 2016. This graph clearly shows the positive correlation between GDP growth and fossil fuel consumption. Although uh, this economic development has brought about like tremendous upliftment in human living standards, it's not without any drawbacks. So we have been facing more frequent, more intense heat waves as the result of climate change, which is mainly due to uh, increased emission of carbon dioxide to fuel our economic growth or to maintain our economic growth, right? So heat waves, drought, uh, their frequency and intensity have been a problem. Similarly, we see worsening air and water qualities, right? More often. Similarly, we see rising sea level, ecosystem disruption, droughts and floods, so on and so forth. So the problem is all the consequences of climate change uh, have a direct cost on human lives and economy. Right? So as you can see, uh, the economic impacts of climate change, the average real GDP loss by 2050, and there is a significant loss projected uh, in real GDP by 2050 due to climate change. And the worst part of this story is that those countries and communities are more affected by the problem of climate change who had very little or no role in causing climate change. They were barely any beneficiary of the economic progress that we have seen so far, but still they are the one who are suffering the most, poor countries and communities. And this crisis, the climate change, is said to increase the misery of such population more, and it is also uh, likely to exacerbate the existing economic inequality. That's why, to mitigate the problem of existing as well as growing climate change, we need redistribution at two levels, one at the international level and the other at the national level, right? So, at both international and national level, we need the redistribution of funds, technology, and expertise, human capital, right? So poor countries and communities barely have any uh, capability to fight climate change without support from those who can offer it, right? So at the national level, we also need to boost community participation. And trust me, this redistributive effort on fund, technology, and expertise can create a massive market opportunities, which enable us to continue thriving economically while existing with the environment uh, peaceful, right? So the coexistence of our economy and ecology is still possible if we switch from present dirty fuels to renewable energy, which is likely to create a tremendous market opportunity. Uh, and yeah, all the redistributive effort can create billions and trillions dollar worth of business opportunities in the sectors such as renewable energy. All right. So there has already been some effort toward this redistributive uh, actions, right? Redistributive activities. For example, COP 2017, which was held very recently in Egypt, agreed to establish loss and damage fund to support poor countries and communities to fight climate change. Similarly, uh, countries and communities have already been working on Red Plus projects, which is a form of redistributive policy to support developing countries. Right? Such efforts are needed more. More are needed in the days to come to fight climate change. Similarly, developed countries are uh, helping build human capital from developing countries, right? Which is very much appreciated. But we need more capable human manpower to fight climate change at a global scale. So, a simple question is the current level of effort enough to fight climate change? Is this current redistributive effort enough? The answer is no, more is needed, right? Although there has been some uh, attempts to realize the redistribution needed to fight climate change, but that is not enough. We need more, more, right? To make our societies more equitable, right? So as to help our poor and vulnerable communities uh, survive this climate disaster, right? So more redistributive policies are needed to support poor countries and poor communities. And yeah, we can discuss on possible redistributive policies, which is of tremendous importance or relevance at international and national level given the climate crisis. So thank you. And if you have any question, concern, or if you generally believe that global or national redistributive policies are needed in the face of climate change, feel free to uh, connect with me. My email address is dkoirala@umass.edu. Thank you.